and that's why I drink Yingling Lager.
Welcome to episode 95 of Guerrilla Radio Show. Believe it or not, we are going to be talking about a serious topic. We're going to talk about African socio-cultural phenomenon, but like in a serious sense.
I see.
Yeah, I got a
So
serious
we're not
topic for you
talking about
guys.
Egypt because they're not a part of Africa.
It's called a mood stabilizer.
We're talking
It's
about
crazy.
primarily
shit to
West
make the
African
goblin.
migrants in the Great Lakes area, actually, I think.
Oh, okay. I actually had no
Okay.
idea what this episode was about today.
Neither
this-
did I. Okay, I thought,
Walking
Chandra, I
blind.
thought maybe you had an idea, and I was hoping that you would be able to.
Well, do you
No
want me to
clue,
send you
brother.
do you want me to send you the Google Doc
Not
just so
like
you can
fully,
follow?
but that would be great, but I mean, we could just freewheel it.
Well,
and
no,
you
I can-
make
I
what
can
we
also
it's
do.
also
just, like-
probably in the
I can
monkey
just
drive.
send links as well, but
Is it in the monkey drive?
okay. So to start us off, I want you to click on this link and see what
Okay,
you
so we
what
need
you
to
see on this
click the
tweet.
links. I
We
see,
do
I
need
see,
to
I
click
see.
on a link to x.com.
Okay,
The everything
yeah.
app.
Go ahead and view that tweet for me.
I remember this.
I don't even know if I should be putting an image of this on screen. Is this too brutal for YouTube?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not. Well, assuming Chandran has seen the tweet by this point.
I have seen a tweet by this point, and I do remember
Okay.
this tweet when it first came out. My favorite reply is the one where that person photoshops eyeballs onto it.
It looks better with
that's
eyes.
good.
Yeah, that's a good one actually.
It's such a good caption too. Looks better with
Yeah.
eyes.
I'll
Motherfucker,
use-
no, it doesn't. It's horrific.
I mean, here's my problem with the bushmeat aspect. Just before we even go anywhere, before you tell me anything, before you do any
I ain't
science,
touching that meat if it don't got bush
this
on it.
fucking thing, this piece of bushmeat, like, what part of it are you
See
fucking
previous comment.
eating? What are you fucking eating?
We'll get into that.
I don't think this is this meant for eating? Okay, we'll get into it.
Honestly, so we will get into this, but essentially, we are looking at a tweet from CBP Chicago, Customs and Border Protection, the Chicago field office. A passenger from Congo believed the food they were bringing was fine. Semicolon. It was not.
No,
In the
it wasn't.
passenger's suitcase, O'Hare agriculture specialists found 11 pounds of beans with pests, 17 pounds of unknown plants, and 4 pounds of non-human primate meat. These items are prohibited, seized, and destroyed.
I
So,
have to ask, beans with pests. Like, what could this man's suitcase have been like?
I know
like,
it
it's
smelled
just
crazy.
a
in
bag
there.
of fucking beans filled with, like, cockroaches? Like,
I
don't
think
know,
it's
it's
like
plants.
regular
there were probably
produce.
like very small agricultural pests crawling
Yeah.
through the beans.
You know
I
those
assume it's
little
not that crazy.
Unknown plants? What do you mean? Don't we know about
Unknown
most
to
of them?
Americans. Unknown to
But
Americans.
what could it have been, do you think?
It could have been
Who's bigger
anything.
than
Do you
the
think a CBP officer in Chicago is going to know any plants? It could have been like fucking, like, I don't know, like sandalwood for all we know. I don't know.
No way to-
That would mean he's bringing a log on the plane, Austin.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was just, that was the first thing that came to mind.
The
Okay.
only, you're like, what do Africans eat?
What's a
Trees.
plant?
No, I just-
a fucking log.
I don't know, man. All
My
right.
dad has
so,
a big chunk of sandalwood he's been grinding down for like 8 years now. It's getting small.
What's he doing with it?
Typical Indian shit. What do you think he's doing with it? He's like, you know.
I now have an additional question: is what does that mean? Like, it's generally a fragrance. So, like, what is he doing?
Okay,
With
where
it?
do you think you get the fragrance from? You get it from the fucking sandalwood.
Is he making perfume?
No, he's doing it for his rituals and his prayers. Why do you think all that shit exists in the first place? You think they just want to smell good?
maybe.
They're doing devotions to God and shit.
Okay, so it turns out that
Follow-ups to that. But all right.
this is this phenomenon is not unheard of. If you search, like, I forgot what term I used to search, but I think I just searched non-human primate on the Chicago Customs and Border Patrol Twitter, and there were 9 instances of this exact tweet, but with different seizures over the last couple of years.
Really?
Um,
They're really milking this one, huh?
well, no, like these are all separate seizures. Like,
I thought you said they just kept posting the same tweet over and over.
No.
do
again.
they
Okay.
all have? Well, how come when I search it, it says no results?
because Twitter doesn't work anymore, man. I don't know.
Are they doing non-human as one word? How are they doing it?
Also, this was the last thing CBP Chicago ever posted. and that was December 18th, 2025.
Well, that's crazy. Yeah,
They haven't posted a single thing ever
They kind
since.
of got a little bit, caught up in a public media firestorm, by being fascists publicly.
Well,
By the
anyway,
way, have y'all noticed? Just scrolling through the CBP Twitter, Chicago Twitter, all their pictures are super fucking low res.
amateurs.
They don't
Oh my
know.
god!
They don't know how
I
to
found the
do it.
other monkey meat one, the second most recent one, and this one. The first one is grisly for those of you who aren't looking at it. The
Yeah.
second one is grisly, but it also looks like it has been buried. It's like he's got dirt on him.
Yeah, you can also just like scroll down their Twitter. There's one about African rodent bushmeat.
Yeah, I saw
If
that
you scroll
one.
down a bit further,
I
there's
see another 5 pounds of
another
monkey
5
bushmeat.
pounds of monkey meat prepared the same way.
Prepared the same way. I was about to say, yeah, tied up at the
Yeah.
limbs.
Well, so
like,
yes, they
blackened.
are all prepared the same way. So they've all been seriously charred, like completely blackened, near mummified.
I hate to tell you this, but I'm not sure they're not charred. I think they're first off, I think they're a bit rotten, but also they're smoked. They're
Not okay. So they're not rotten. So this is a pretty common method of preparation for many African migrants,
And I assume
especially
preservation too.
It's got to
like
be a
jerky.
preservation.
Because-
it can't be good.
So if you scroll down in the document a bit further, there is an article from shoot, I don't know who this is from. It was published.
The Library of Medicine. Or
Yeah,
or just way
I don't
further
know. I don't know where this was published
This
originally.
motherfucker has 7
see.
pangolins and 13 pounds of porcupine meat in their fucking luggage.
Well, it's traditional
this is-
cuisine.
I believe this was originally published by the CDC. I went to the publisher site. The
Okay.
CDC Incentives for Bushmeat. Okay, the CDC Volume 23 Research Letter. Incentives for bushmeat consumption and importation among West African immigrants in Minnesota, USA. The abstract here says the knowledge, attitudes, and practices.
It looks like
surrounding
it's
bushmeat
actually
consumption.
the journal is titled "Emerging Infectious Diseases."
Oh, look at me! I'm so stupid. I don't even know my journals. I don't even know my
So,
infectious disease
just
journal.
reading the abstract here, the knowledge, attitudes, and practices surrounding bushmeat consumption and importation in the United States are not well described. Focus groups of West African persons living in Minnesota, USA, found that perceived risks are low and unlikely to deter consumers. Incentives for importation and consumption were multifactorial in this community. So
true.
basically, they asked a bunch of people why they were still doing this. Specifically, they asked Liberian immigrants in this study. So they identified a couple of common themes. One, nostalgia / cultural connection is a driver for consumption. Two, bushmeat is readily accessible and consumed when visiting friends in West Africa or family. Three, there's skepticism over potential zoonoses from bushmeat. So this is where the method of preparation comes in.
Yeah. And
Because-
the primary risks they're talking about in this abstract, the perceived risks are low and unlikely to deter consumers. They're talking about infectious diseases like zoonotic
Right,
cancer.
like zoonotic
That's why
diseases.
this is published in Emerging.
Well,
Infectious
because if you
Diseases.
think about it, there's a history of zoonotic diseases emerging from eating non-human primate meat in Africa.
So true.
Here's
Notoriously,
one pretty famous one.
it's a pretty famous one theorized to be the origin of AIDS.
Bro,
So
AIDS, not AIDS, no.
this
Sorry,
this
I don't know
quote that they've identified from one person, one interview in particular, says, "I don't believe that monkey or bat is carrying this virus, but these beliefs come from my experience. When I was growing up, I would talk to my granduncle, and we used to walk in the forest, teaching me how to survive in the forest. And he taught me one thing: anything that can kill any animal can kill you, and anything an animal carries that can kill it. So when you see the animal, you'll see it's sick, and you see it is dead. So anything that can kill me, the animal will not." I'm a little confused by this person's English, but monkey cannot carry a virus that can kill me and not look sick. So that's part of it. Is they think that, like, they assume that if they aren't killing a sick monkey, then they're not going to get a disease from it. But the fourth little theme identified here is
What
cooking.
he's saying is that if the monkey had a disease that would kill him, the monkey would look sick. And therefore he knows, he's saying, I'm too smart to get sick from eating monkeys.
Yeah,
basically.
he's saying, I
It's
totally
common sense,
think-
guys.
But there is another factor to this. So
Yeah.
4, cooking and proper food preparation could mitigate disease risk. So this is the one that I honestly thought this is what I was reading at first, but I got mixed up. So when you kill the bushmeat in Africa, before you even eat it, it goes over the fire. They dry the meat, and there it goes in a pot, and we are cooking it in Africa. We are not cooking for 5 minutes. I don't care how the virus or bacteria is. When you put it in the fire, it will not survive for a minute. When we start talking about Ebola, well, Ebola did not come from eating bushmeat, but the Ebola virus might have been on the meat. But when you put it in the fire, I don't think the Ebola virus could survive. So I'm trying to find the exact quote where they talk about how long, but basically they dry out the meat by putting it over the fire, then they boil it for like half an hour, and then they cook it again. So it's like serious cooking, and it's like, yeah, I don't think any virus would survive that at all.
And in case, so if you guys don't know how cooking kills pathogens and stuff, it is a combination of temperature and time, right? So like when the CDC or whatever it is tells you, or FDA, whatever, says cook your chicken to 165 degrees to an internal temperature, that's because at 165 degrees, there can be no bacteria that survives for like, if it's at that temperature, for like even a few seconds. So that's why the FDA or the CDC says cook it to 165. And for those of y'all who like are, you like be home cooks, like you cook a lot at home, you know that people are like, if you cook your chicken that hot, it's going to be dry and nasty. So the trick is to kind of cook it to a lower internal temperature, but because it is a combination of factors, time and heat, if you cook your chicken to 155 for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, that has the same amount of deterioration of all bacteria in that chicken.
I will say,
yeah.
None of this applies to pork. You gotta cook that shit, or you'll get the fucking worms in your flesh.
Some worms in there.
But birds, you're right. I do know that pork has to be cooked like to that temperature where you get parasites.
That's for bacteria in our food. The bacteria that migrates into a piece of food that's been sitting out. This guy's got fucking AIDS. This monkey has AIDS.
So
I'm gonna be real. I have gone through. First off, the CPB Chicago's page, if you just click on media, you gotta do this on your desktop so you can see everything, is a combination of a few things. A ton of people who think that they can photocopy $100 bills. Very cute German Shepherd drug sniffing dogs. And
I love
fucking
manufacturing
bushmeat.
consent.
It's not just fucking like monkeys. There's one can't find it anymore. It's just like we found a non-human primate, porcupine, and 17 pounds of unknown bushmeat. And the picture, it looks like jerky, but it's like there's hands in it. I don't know how to describe. Like all of these things, they're wrapped in fucking newspapers. Like it's just, if you're gonna try to do this, folks.
Yeah, it's a little.
Maybe don't ball it up in some newspaper and leave the monkey's head.
It seems
on.
like CBP Chicago is mostly putting people from Africa, traveling from Africa, on blast for bringing meat, and like that's what they post on their Twitter.
A lot of Southeast Asian ones too, where they're trying to bring in like rodent meat.
Yeah, so this one from July 17th was like a passenger from Ethiopia was referred to AG Secondary. Chicago CBP inspected her bag after x-rays showed anomalies. CBP found prohibited items consisting of 465 pounds of cooked and raw cow meat. Further inspection revealed a total of 11 bags, close to 600 pounds.
Man, how you bring a 500? You could just buy a fucking cow here. The fucking luggage fee alone has got to be getting close to the cost of a cow.
So, Most participants, going back to the study here, most participants reported preference for what they described as dried bushmeat. Drying involved varying degrees of smoking, aging, and desiccation. Dried bushmeat, compared with raw or partially smoked products, was preferred for importation because its decreased odor is believed to reduce detection. Concern about zoonotic or foodborne disease dissuaded few participants from obtaining or consuming bushmeat, despite heightened awareness that wildlife could harbor Ebola virus. Among those who acknowledged this potential, most believed careful preparation and thorough cooking mitigated risk. Which, to be fair, like, I mean, if you're cooking a monkey for 30 minutes to the point where it's charred black, the Ebola virus isn't going to survive. Like, they're right about that, but...
Countless bacteria. The minute you wrap it in fucking dirty newspaper, though.
Yeah, but that's, with... the thing that's... The reason why it's so gross to transport meat from anywhere, which, I mean, if you think about it, is a problem no matter what, but, like, that's why we transport it raw and then cook it so that it... But, like, it's still, the point being, it's generally not sanitary, even the way that we do it in, like, industry standard ways. But it's just got to be, like, fucking cooked very thoroughly to mitigate any risk. But even then...
It's crazy to me that anybody orders a burger, anything but well done, at the restaurant. Like, y'all, you can't be ordering your burgers fucking medium at,
Yeah, like...
Jason is coming out and telling us right
steak
now
and shake.
that they prefer hockey... I don't think you can get it anything but well done in steak and shake. It's thin.
That's the truth.
Here's the thing. Like, it's
a
a very...
Listen, motherfucker's going to Outback and order a medium burger. That thing's been sitting on a truck for 3 days. Cook it!
There's a guy doing cocaine in the freezer
not steak.
who's making your fucking burger right now.
Here's the thing.
God, I wish that was me.
If you eat, like, blue rare meat, you're going to die. You're going to die, and you're going to hell.
I have my steaks blue.
That's why you're going to die.
You're going to die. You're going to die. They're going to kill you. No. I mean, I don't know, man.
I think
you got that same RFK worm in your brain right now.
I hope so. I think the three of us would make a good three-man line cook team for a restaurant that hates us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we'd be really good at it. God,
so, back to my notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course, it's somewhat of a cultural no-no to eat monkeys in America.
Yeah. You don't have them.
But
Wait,
again,
did you
of
give
course,
us the notes, or are they in the goddamn drive? Are they in the drive?
They are in the drive.
Okay, that's okay.
They're always in the drive. They have never not been in the drive.
I can't drive. You can't. You drive.
I can't drive.
So, I mean, the Ebola / just general zoonosis risk comes in at the initial preparation of the monkey corpse, and that's all happening in Africa. So, if it's going to happen to anyone, it's the risk is already passed by when they smuggle the monkey meat into America. And so part of me thinks, like, yes, I think it's generally good that we ban all bushmeat from, being smuggled internationally, but, like, kind of already happened, don't you think? Like, I don't know how much that's actually... I guess the only thing that would dissuade is people who are visiting from America who want to bring back some, but that clearly doesn't stop everyone. It probably should.
How much do you think gets through?
I don't know.
Not
I don't know.
Amount.
It's got to be
They're
enough.
not good at their jobs.
No,
I can't imagine.
The average TSA person is like a 38 IQ, so like...
Not even room temperature.
I feel like the thing is maybe even that they aren't enforcing it hard enough, and enough people have just brought in bushmeat that they're like, yeah, it's fine, just, be careful. Yeah. What are the odds you're going to get caught and blasted on the CBP Twitter?
I do need to say, like, in the post 9/11 world, international airports also have security. I don't understand. And obviously, like, a lot of these people are coming from sub-Saharan Africa. It's going to be a little airport, even if it's the country's main airport. And the security is going to be, let's be real, it's going to be shit. But, like, I'm sure they got an x-ray machine. They don't need planes blowing up, right? They're looking for bombs. Is it fucking allowed to leave the country with goddamn smoked fucking gibbon? Like, well, I don't understand.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Ethiopia.
I gotta look this up.
Bushmeat. Let's see.
Dude,
Ethiopian
imagine-
Airlines Israel is the first result. It is generally not allowed to leave Ethiopia or enter most countries, including the U.S., with bushmeat. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I figured.
So
I guess they're sneaking
Congolese
it out.
law does not allow you to bring meat out of the
This is
country.
like pretty much like illegal everywhere in the world. So I think it's just sort of like trying to smuggle your dad pen through security, where it's like,
You
they
gotta
won't
take
how
that
much-
risk. You gotta
Can you
take that
imagine
risk.
if they're doing their jobs at like the Kinshasa International Airport? Can you imagine how much more of it they're stopping there? Can you imagine the type of shit people are trying to bring in like paper bags onto their carry-on, like from Kinshasa?
I don't know.
Yeah, if I was working at the airport, I wouldn't even bother checking your carry-on. You can't fit nothing in there. Yeah,
I'm not gonna check your carry-on.
Go on through. No big deal.
If I'm in African TSA, I'm going. I'm not checking your carry-on. There's bushmeat in there. Take it out now. I'm not even going to look. Take it out. Get it out of there.
But like, I just don't understand. How common could this possibly be?
I don't
Hold on.
know. But now
Let's
looking at the
Google
notes,
this.
And why are
How
you
much
pluralizing
bushmeat
here?
is seized globally at airports?
It's going to be a number we hate. It's going to be huge.
Significant amounts of illegal bushmeat are seized at airports, with studies estimating around 5 tons per week. Smuggled through just the Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport.
5 tons of bushmeat is moving through Charles de Gaulle.
3.9 tons are smuggled monthly through the Brussels airport. It's always like pangolins and monkeys. I guess
It does seem to be. Why are pangolins
Look,
so
what if it's like
popular as
really
bushmeat?
good? What if it tastes really good?
I guess we have to take this into consideration.
So just through Charles de Gaulle, for everybody who can't do the ton conversion, because I can't, that is 573,202 pounds of bushmeat every year just through Charles de Gaulle.
That's 5 tons.
5 tons a week. 52 weeks a year is 260
Oh, a
tons.
year you meant. I was like,
A
it's
year.
like 10,000 pounds. What are you talking about, 500,000 pounds?
What
Yeah,
is it,
okay.
metric
Bro
tons?
brought out the
Is
calculator.
an imperial ton different? What's the difference between a U.S. ton? That's 520,000 pounds for a U.S. ton to a pound. Why are there
I don't
3
know
different
if it-
types of ton? It's about
Couldn't tell you, brother.
500,000 pounds. It's 500,000 pounds.
More than 1 million pangolins were poached.
How many pangolins?
In 2004 to 2014, more than 1 million pangolins were poached.
They're like almost extinct. I didn't even know there were 1 million of them to poach.
I guess that's why.
I watched a very fun documentary about pangolins on Netflix a few weeks ago.
How extinct are pangolins?
Okay,
Very
so
close.
the problem is that
Yeah,
most of the dissuading that attempts that we make are like, it's illegal and it could spread viruses. One, yes, of course it's illegal, like, but you need to have a good reason for something being illegal. And I don't think like conservation is always going to be the most convincing thing. Because like, think about it, man. If cows were suddenly declared like endangered, how many Americans do you think would stop eating hamburgers?
0.
Right.
Not a single one.
I'm confused. What's your angle here? What's the angle that we're going for with this episode? Are we saying the bushmeat's okay, or are we saying the bushmeat's not okay?
We're saying that you're all fucking guilty.
Because
Every
I
single
thought we
one of you.
didn't want people to be eating monkeys, right? Isn't that the whole point of this show?
But you also shouldn't be eating cows.
As we all know, there can only be 2 positions at any time.
so
Complete
confused.
complete disavowal and complete unequivocal agreeing with. Those
Also,
are
I
the
think
only 2
people could
positions.
stop eating cows. They don't eat them in India.
Motherfucker, can you just let me get through the episode instead of saying, are we for this or are we against this? Maybe that's why we're having a discussion.
Tell me if I need to be woke or not right now.
You always need to be more woke. That's just like a general
So
rule
again,
of thumb.
obviously
Okay.
opposed to the
We're finding a
bushmeat
culture war.
trade, right? We're obviously.
I couldn't tell because you've been going, well.
Well, what I'm saying is a big part of the way that we try to dissuade people from this is saying like, oh, it'll spread diseases. If you cook it, it's not going to spread. Like that's
So it's
not going to
fine.
convince
There you
anyone
go, it's
because
fine.
they're not
So it's
stupid.
okay.
Like you can't
All right,
just
everybody.
you
Bring
can't
this
just
smoked monkey
lie to
head.
people and assume they're too stupid to know otherwise in order to stop them from doing illegal things. You need to like actually give people good reasons to make them stop doing things. I've generally found to be
You know
true.
what? We need to stop. Chandra, we need to stop him for just real quick. First off, I need to preface this with, I saw the way you live. If you smoke the bushmeat, cook it, I don't give a fuck what you're doing, and then you take it from small place, wrap it in nothing, newspaper, a plastic bag, whatever, take it to an airport, put it through their TSA belt, put it in an airplane, and then take it home, it's covered in bacteria.
Yeah,
It might not have viruses in it anymore, but it is covered in bacteria.
But it's like jerky, though. You know,
But
they
that's
got
the
jerky
Jerky
stuff
goes
on
into a vacuum sealed bag.
that's the
I
problem
can't
with
prove that.
bringing any food on any airplane. It's not unique to bushmeat.
Mhm.
I don't think it's unique bushmeat. The page is full of them taking vegetables.
Point
Well, the
being,
vegetables are for pests.
That's true.
point being, like if you bring a fucking cheeseburger onto an airplane, they're not going to be like, dude, you're spreading diseases, and like freak the fuck out.
Yeah, so that's not a viable, legitimate argument against bushmeat.
That's not yeah.
So whether or not you're smuggling a pangolin or having a McDonald's burger on the fucking airplane, you're a goddamn murderer and should die.
You're fucking.
My
You need
final
to kill
stance
yourself
on the
now.
topic.
Kill yourself now.
Kill yourself now.
And you know
So,
what,
like,
folks?
if you were-
That's why I drink Yingling Lager.
But like that's bringing anything in an like at that rate, bringing anything through an airport, like your toothbrush through an airport, that would attract the same exact bacteria.
First off, I would never bring my toothbrush from home on a fucking airplane. That's disgusting.
Well, you do have to bring a
Airplanes are
toothbrush.
tubes of disease. You buy a toothbrush, you leave it in a sealed package until you get where you're going.
Good point.
Not Austin. Loosey goosey toothbrush.
He got a toothbrush in his fucking pocket.
I'm
Well,
disease free, dude.
You should get your tongue split, Austin.
No.
You could pull it off.
So
You could pull it off.
what I think is if we want to like actually convince people to stop smuggling endangered monkey meat into the country,
don't
convince
think you
people
do.
that it's unethical, if nothing else, there would need to be some on the ground anthropology work or something, some kind of cultural work. And if nothing else, we need to understand more deeply the cultural driver in Liberia or West Africa or the Congo or wherever that makes eating bushmeat common enough to be something that you're nostalgic for when you're in America.
You know, stop me if I'm being too woke, but I honestly, I'm thinking about it right now. I don't think there's a real difference between eating a fucking pangolin versus eating a deer.
There's not. I mean,
Well, the pangolins are endangered. The deer are.
well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
But like spiritually.
I feel
In
that
a
way-
literal
I feel
sense,
that
they're
way
kind
about,
of
like,
both
buffalo
bushmeat.
Those are endangered. I don't like
Yeah.
buffalo. Buffalo is good as fuck, but like, it seems a little wrong to eat it. You know?
It definitely is.
Bushmeat generally refers to meat derived from wild animals that you have hunted. So Americans eating deer,
Is bush
even though
It's
we
bushmeat.
are like a highly developed, industrialized,
even though we're
post-industrialized. We are a super post-industrialized
We're super
nation.
white.
We're Scots Irish.
Again, I'm not talking just about us being white. There's a lot of white people in underdeveloped areas who are very proud of the fact that they
Brazil.
eat.
Argentina.
Sorry,
I'm talking about your backyard, Greg. It's people living next to you, Greg.
First
You
off,
live
I
in
live in a
Appalachia.
city. Where the fuck do you think I am? There's 4 Eagles
Appalachia,
within like half a
motherfucker.
mile.
Drive half an hour that way, and everyone's eating deer meat.
Yeah.
That way or that way?
I don't know.
Anyway, motherfucker.
What, man, I eat deer meat. I get that, but that's a regular.
So
I
you
think the
eat
difference-
bush meat.
I think the difference. I'm not arguing that, but I am like deer hunting is regulated.
Right.
You have to get tags and shit, or a butcher won't take you.
I don't know how that
Listen,
works.
I've
never done it before.
I mean, first of all, I think most of the people
two.
eating deer meat are not bothering getting it all tagged and properly processed.
Why?
I think most of them are throwing it in the back of their truck and cooking and
Maybe in
eating
like
it.
fucking West Virginia, dude, but this is like a very densely populated place.
Okay, I'm talking about Appalachia in general,
being your
just the
heels
entire
sometimes.
area. You're like getting
Yeah,
way too defensive about this.
I'm not even arguing
You're
with you.
getting
You're
so
just you're just being pro bushmeat. I don't know what to do with you. I don't know
I'm
what
not.
to do with you.
What about this suggests I am pro bushmeat?
I don't know, the weird way you're kind of dancing around like we probably shouldn't be killing monkeys and eating them anywhere.
How many times do I need to say I am against bushmeat for you to realize that I am against eating bushmeat?
The raised
And
bait
that's
is
why
gonna
I
kill
drink
him.
Yingling Lager.
We're just gonna mute Greg for the rest of this episode.
Whatever, man.
And some equivalence to this would be like trying to bring deer meat into any other country in the world. Like, that would be disgusting and stupid. Why? Okay, now why are you like, oh no, it's different? What's different about it?
Nothing is different. I don't know. It depends. Is it packaged like the meat from the grocery store, or someone at
Who
some
the
is
fuck
Uncle
is eating
Joe
deer
Bob?
meat that is vacuum sealing their meat?
Hey, those guys got
When
fucking
you
deep
kill it-
freezers and shit.
Yeah, when you kill a deer, you get like 500 pounds of meat, dude. They're vacuum sealing
I don't
that
think
shit.
Austin has ever seen like the garage freezer of somebody who hunts deer.
Austin's experience outside of this country is just in a third world country. Like, he's like, I
Hey,
went to
Thailand's
Thailand and they're
pretty
just
nice.
wrapping shit in paper.
That's not what I'm saying. First of all, I don't
think meat
I don't
shouldn't
think
be exported
everybody
across national
smuggling
lines.
bushmeat into America. Okay, yeah. You have like this idea that like people in West Virginia who are killing deer are doing it in like a clean, like ethical way, which like it is more ethical technically because deer
I
aren't
don't
endangered.
think people in West Virginia or anywhere
Our people.
are going, I'm going to kill a deer, the most common fucking mammal on Earth, and I'm going to put it on an airplane with me. Because they have
They
this
might
whole
be.
thing.
You don't know. We don't got fucking CBP goddamn
They
Liberia
would
saying,
probably be
look at
posting
this
about
bad boy bringing the deer.
Greg, are you like do you understand perhaps why people from Africa move to America? Do you think
I
like
do know. I understand.
so why are you playing dumb? Why
I'm
are
not
you
playing
derailing
dumb.
the episode to be like, oh, these Africans, they're crazy, huh?
I'm not saying that.
You're
No, I
saying,
think
like,
Greg
oh,
said
they're
that
just
literally.
throwing meat around willy-nilly in paper bags.
I'm not saying they're throwing meat around willy-nilly.
That's
I'm
what
saying,
you've been saying, man.
I'm saying it's just crazy to think you could get away with this.
To be fair,
Not
I
really.
think
They
the
get
only
away with
guys
it quite
get-
frequently.
The only guys getting caught are the guys who are wrapping it in newspaper. The guys putting in Ziploc bags, they got away scot
They
free.
probably are getting away with it.
That's the thing. That's the thing we have to think about. I will say there was that one picture of that fucking beagle sitting next to a full stack of fully prepared meals that were sealed in Tupperware and then also wrapped in plastic cling wrap. Let that motherfucker eat his
That's
goddamn
pretty-
food.
That's pretty good. I'm
Why
also
the
looking,
hell
I
did
think
you
this is-
steal like 3 weeks worth of food from him? He cooked
I
it
think
up.
so. I think I'm
What's
looking
wrong?
at the. I think this is the same beagle,
It's-
and it's
it's the-
them taking a bunch of bananas and potatoes from some guy from Kenya.
You can't be doing that. You can't be bringing.
I-
These are
like-
good-looking bananas.
I think there's probably a decent reason for banning like all sorts of transport of food internationally, but they don't really
Yeah.
give people those good reasons. Like, yeah, it can be dirty and spread diseases, but like,
I mean, I don't know if this happened to you, Austin, but if you fly from anywhere in India to anywhere in Europe on British Airways, they fucking gas you in the damn cabin because they're getting rid of pests. They spray your whole body and face in the enclosed cabin with pesticides in order to kill any pests that have come aboard.
Do they only do that?
On British
On the
Airways
India flights?
from I don't know if there's just India flights, but they did it on my flight. Because I flew from Bangalore to London Heathrow on a British Airways flight, and they fucking gassed me.
The point I am
That's
trying
crazy.
to make here is that, generally speaking, transport of any food is frowned upon between
Yes.
Yeah.
intercontinental flights.
Can't be doing that shit. Unless it's a McDonald's burger from the airport. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, and like part of that does come down to there is a cultural factor at play here, right? Like, imagine you tried to bring a nice Wagyu steak into India. I don't think they would be very happy. I assume not, at least.
Probably not.
This picture has
Probably
80 bats in it.
Have you seen that video of those like Hindu nationalists like throwing caltrops into the street to derail like a beef cattle truck?
I have not seen that video.
I have not seen that.
Yeah,
They like run up to the truck and like slash its tires and like flip it over.
I'm not going to say based because Hindu nationalists, of course, but low key.
Did it work?
I mean, yeah, they flipped the truck.
over.
Yeah, man.
Like,
I assume it didn't get to where it was going. So, zoonotic disease transfer isn't really a good or convincing reason, and I don't think anybody has been particularly dissuaded by the mostly arbitrary reasons given for not allowing food to be transported.
And I do want to say, for like when we give reasons and rules like this, it's not because you specifically are going to bring the disease over to our country, but rather, if you allow 500,000 people to do something repeatedly, eventually, statistically,
It's
going to happen once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
when it comes to like an invasive pest or something,
you have to think. I mean, yes, that is generally the reason. I would say. I mean, that's a good reason. Even I just think the way like probably just human psychology in general works is everyone
we
thinks
always consider ourselves the exception.
like not me though. I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
So
No,
like
I'm doing it the right way.
I don't think these sorts of things are very convincing. So I do think like, but I don't know how to crack down further in a way that's like effective and not just.
I think what you never gotta hand it to Customs and Border Protection, but I think what they're doing here is probably as much as you can do. Because I did click on some of the links from these where it's like, go here to learn more. And like, they're giving these people what feels like a pretty insignificant fine for like what people are bringing. Like the guy who brought in one of these monkeys.
I don't
they
think
fined him
increasing
$300.
punishment is going to do much either.
No, I don't think increasing punishment, but I think like a nominal fee plus they X-ray your shit. It's
Well,
about as
I
much as you
think-
can do, right?
With bushmeat smuggling specifically, there is an ethical factor to this that makes it particularly harmful, and I think that is something that maybe this wouldn't impact anyone at all in their desire to bring like plants or fruits or something internationally.
Yeah.
But with bushmeat specifically, I do think if there is some kind of concerted cultural, like I said earlier, some kind of intentional effort to understand and push for either cultural awareness or just anti-bushmeat campaigns in these areas, it's going to have to be like that, because I don't think you can just regulate this away very effectively. You need to sort of go at the root of the problem here. And
I do also have to say, like, we should be maybe a little bit careful to not accidentally play like white savior. It's not on us to like. It's not on the United States, right?
well, right, no.
Like to decide.
I'm
It's up
personally going
to
to go fund every anti-poaching task force in Africa. I'm going to be sending them ammunition and more weapons to kill every poacher they can get their hands on.
You know.
And that's not me being a white savior. That's me being an ally.
For one, I'm talking specifically about American citizens who visit their relatives back in Africa and come back with monkey meat. There is things that we can do here, especially because they are Americans, and we can handle that in America. international cooperation, as far as that can go, can make... I think at the end of the day, it could partially be on the African countries in particular to work on this culturally to remove the demand for it in the first place. But to what extent that we can't really control that, I do think we do have more control over American
Chinese
citizens.
Traditional medicine and the Communist Party of China constantly trying to do something about it. It's like, that's the reason why there's no pangolins, by the way, is that the scales of a pangolin are like highly valued in Chinese medicine. And so, if you are some fucking guy who has enough money to buy a flight to Beijing, and you live in, I don't know where pangolins live, so I'm just going to say Kenya.
All over.
And you can bag a couple, and you know that the Nairobi airport security don't give a fuck, and you know that when you get to China, you could probably pay off somebody because this is such a valuable product. You're going to kill the pangolins, and you're going to take them with you. What I don't necessarily get is, pangolins coming here. I don't know how high the demand could possibly be. But,
that's what I'm trying to figure out, too, is it's hard to, part of the reason we need to do this work in America among American immigrants is we need to figure out how much of this demand is coming from people, in the imperial core, now in the imperial core, importing this stuff for their own personal use. How much of that demand is being driven by now American citizens who have migrated here and want a little taste of home, essentially. But
it also doesn't seem to be the preferred method. Like you said, what you read, eating it like that seems like it's also not super appealing to these people. They're doing it like that because it's easier to transport and cuts down on the smell.
Well, no, it's not just that. They cook it very thoroughly in Africa too, because they know what Ebola is. They don't want Ebola.
But the smoking, the charring and the drying out is that's a part of it to transport.
It's not just for the transport. I think it's pretty common in general.
The article says, the research article says they do that in Africa. That's how they prepare
it
in Africa.
Okay.
They cook it twice, and they cook it, they boil it, they cook it over and over again because they know the disease is there. The potential for the disease is there.
Cooking it, boiling it, cooking it again. Let's have a real conversation here. And you get it fresh, right? Before they put it on the plane. What do you think that tastes like? You think pork? Pork? People are supposed to taste like pork. From what I've understand, humans taste like pork.
I don't know. I don't know.
Close enough to a monkey before. I've never had any game before.
Really? Yeah. What do you mean?
I've never had a deer or venison or anything like that. I've never had a game before. Exactly what I said.
I've never eaten squirrel meat like Xavier Leggett in the Panthers locker room.
He was eating a raccoon, man. He was eating raccoon.
I've had squirrel.
Just to be clear, he was talking about eating fucking raccoons.
He was talking about eating raccoons. Squirrels are it's like venison, and you don't know what venison is like, but venison.
You've eaten squirrels?
Yeah.
So you know what a monkey tastes like, probably.
No, I don't.
So Greg's like, these people are crazy. Motherfucker, you eat bushmeat.
I know what it is.
You've eaten deer, squirrel? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, but you know what I didn't do? I didn't kill the squirrel, cook it 4 times, and then take it on a flight to fucking O'Hare.
Because you live here! Because you live here!
I know! That was the point.
At least I didn't cook it properly.
I'm imagining an evil, bizarro version of Greg who lives in Spain now, and Greg's evil, bizarro version brother comes to visit him. They go hunt deer and squirrels and package it up to take
Bizarro
back to
Greg
Spain.
has a full head of hair and no mustache.
Exactly,
But no, my point that I was making to Chandran was, have you ever had a buffalo burger or anything like that?
Once.
I think I've had bison meat once.
It's a little different than
10 years ago.
It's a little different than meat. There's there's a different kind of texture. Squirrels like that. I had kangaroo once. I gotta tell you, we gotta industrial farm them motherfuckers. We gotta industrial farm them motherfuckers.
They'll fight you to death. They'll box you to death.
It doesn't matter. No, they raise them in Australia like cows and sell the meat. But I'm telling you.
Well, that's what I mean.
Steak doesn't fucking compare to the beauty of them little boxing bastards. They are so good.
Here's the thing. every
Mhm.
country, every continent in the world, I mean, I think especially continent is the big divider here, does
That's where
have
animals
like
live.
different main supplies of meat. Like, again, we've talked about this before. America is a bit
horses and shit.
America's a bit
Yup.
unique in just how much like cow and chicken meat we're producing on this mass industrial scale. Like, we see it as just something
we
that
consume more pork, I think, than anything else, don't we?
maybe
It's got to be chicken.
It's gotta be.
It's
It's gotta
so
be either
much fucking
chicken or
chicken
pork.
we
It's so
eat.
much
chicken, beef, and pork are, I would say,
That's
the
the
three
triumvirate,
main
though.
meats of
Yeah.
America. But, like, for example, most of the world would probably consider pork pretty disgusting, I think.
They
So
do,
chicken
yeah.
overtook pork in 1996.
Yeah, that trash.
Each
That
person
makes sense.
in America
Not
eats
me.
on average 102 pounds of chicken a year.
Not me.
Pork is about 60 pounds.
I
Beef is about
think- I
50
I'm
think
kidding.
pounds.
Annoying
the-
fucking guy who's been vegetarian for like 6 months and is talking about it.
By the way,
Yeah.
how is that going? Do you like? How have
Amazing.
you been? How have you? Do you have to eat more to like get the same amount of protein?
No, I'm just being a fat ass these days though. I have been eating a lot lately just because I'm
Word.
hungry as fuck.
That's
Not, it's nothing to do with vegetarianism. I just like my candy. I have so much fucking chocolate in this house, dude. I am going to die. I'm gonna get
You know
please
who
die.
has good? You know who's got really good like bars of like different
No,
kinds of dark
don't
chocolate?
fucking
Aldi.
no.
Aldi.
Stop. Shut the
Aldi.
fuck up. I don't want to hear it.
And it's really it's Swiss chocolate, and it's like $3 for the bar.
Kill
It's so
yourself, you bald mother. I don't want to hear it. I'm
good. I got
going
chili,
to die.
I got raspberry, I got almond, I got all kinds of shit. It's all so good. Anywhere from milk
Okay.
to 99%.
We are one paragraph in.
We haven't gotten to the part where Austin is saying deer, but he's saying deers.
That's, man, you know how
pluralizing
I
a
write
plural
these
word.
things. You know how I write these things.
It's crazy you got a master's degree sometimes.
It's,
Okay, real
I'm
quick.
not
I'm just gonna go
proofreading my
get a beer.
stream
I'll
of
be right back.
consciousness, motherfucker.
Oh, I'm gonna go get another beer too.
Are we?
You
Are
talk-
we? Is
this
this
at
gonna be a
work.
2-hour episode? Are we doing a 2-hour episode
Chandran,
tonight?
let's go get another beer.
Okay.
let's recenter.
Okay.
So, like I said, I think one important way of tackling this is bare minimum starting out by finding how much of this demand is being driven by now American citizens importing this meat and what we can do in those communities to sort of help dissuade that, if nothing else on moral grounds, because while, yes, basically every continent has like different staple meats, the monkeys and pangolins in particular, even if they are delicious, are endangered, and there needs to be something like these are not animals that can be factory farmed like cows. So something does need to be done about this in some sense. However that's handled, I don't know, it seems a bit out of our hands, but at least we can tackle it culturally here. However, what I think is more likely is that we're probably just going to get more racist African migrants in America,
That is
specifically
kind of the
in
classic American
Minneapolis.
solution to any problem.
The
Become more
solution,
racist.
you know, they're going to send that Nick Shirley guy to Minneapolis to talk about how they all eat monkeys and cats and dogs.
I expect it coming soon. Immediately after this episode, that episode's gonna come out. That video's gonna come out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's probably good to make people understand, people like under our sphere of influence, understand that eating endangered animals is fucked up. At the end of the day, our podcast has always taken somewhat of a materialist stance that convincing people one by one to stop doing something to drive down demand doesn't work particularly well. List of things we've been trying this for are illegal poaching, drugs, veganism, environmentalism. What else?
I'm trying to get so many fucking people to do drugs, but they just won't fucking do it.
So, like, we've been trying this for decades, and I think maybe probably negative progress has been made on all of those fronts. I think if by some intervention of God, deers and cows became endangered, you would probably
It's just
not be
deer.
able to
Just
convince...
deer.
What?
It's just deer.
It's just deer.
Shut
Plural
up.
of deer is
Yeah,
deer.
it's because I was reading my notes that you know what I fucking meant. I think if deer and cows became endangered, you physically could not convince most Americans to stop eating them for
You
purely
could not
moral
stop
reasons.
a motherfucker from going to Culver's or Whataburger at like
These motherfuckers
9
love their
p.m. on a
Wendy's.
Wednesday.
Everyone, these are things that we've sort of touched on already, but everyone thinks they are exempt to have a little treat every now and then. At some point it's human nature. But,
Having my little treat right now.
Tweet.
Dude,
The
if I could
state-
have heroin just one time, I would do it.
the
Oh my
state,
god! If I could get it once and then know that I would
Exactly,
never be
like a
available to me
guarantee
again.
one-time heroin. Oh, I'm taking.
You know how? I don't even need the heroin. I want to try 1840 style Chinese opium.
Yeah.
let's say deer did become endangered. Let's say the government declares hunting them illegal.
They
Maybe
have
this would
done that in
have.
the past, right?
I'm sure they have, but
They've done it here in this state, and it worked. Just want to let you know that there are years where hunting is not allowed because the population is too low.
Okay. I think if there was a blanket ban just in general, I don't know how effective that would be. Maybe it would be more effective because we have better means of enforcing that. We have more rangers and such, but you got to think when you try to cut back on things that people really want, doesn't always work, maybe even rarely works. Think back to prohibition.
R.I.P. Dale, 25 years ago.
I do have an even more recent example of this exact phenomenon.
Okay.
Which is the recent Miami Beach shark ban. Ban on fishing sharks.
I thought that's been banned for a long time. It's new?
Well, actually, I need to do some more research, but I saw this post, I don't know. I saw this post recentishly, and when we were talking about no more hunting deer, it made me think of it, but the tweet I have
Well,
in front of me right
it's
now-
like Japanese whaling is like another good example. Hyper industrialized developed country.
Yeah, but this is specifically like after this law was passed, I believe. Fishermen in Miami were like posting revenge killings. Like, hey, they banned shark fishing, but guess what? I'm here on Miami Beach. I'm fishing the fucking sharks.
Well, that
Posting-
could also just be because people who live in Miami are not human, but
Well,
that's
okay.
because it's also because much like Japan, America is a deeply fascist society.
And listen, if we're going to extend cultural relativism all around the world, we have to include the population of fucking Miami and Florida.
Unfortunately, we do.
I
yeah.
mean, just to be real with you, we do have to find some equivalents eventually,
If
People
we
in Miami.
get Guantanamo
Cavemen.
Bay, Cuba should be able to lease Miami, and they should be able to kill everybody inside.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, just the fact that there is a gut instinctive, like, refusal to go along with the government telling you can't do that thing that you want to do anymore. Like, people freak the fuck out. This is an almost universal phenomenon.
Yeah.
And it's especially made worse in the case of bushmeat because states like Liberia do not have anywhere near a comparable amount of power to meaningfully enforce anti-bushmeat laws. Because they do have these laws, but they don't have the power to enforce them or really enact cultural change as strongly as maybe a more developed, centralized nation would.
And at a cultural level, do they have the will to enforce that?
I don't know, because it's probably the people at the head of state also like to have a little bit of monkey every now and then. I know I like to have a little bit of monkey every now and then.
I fucking hate you. I was gonna make a real point.
No, you don't like the interruptions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think also we misunderstand from our perspective, like living in the United States or even having experience in other countries, like going to India, going to Thailand, going to Europe, that we have this misconception about like what statehood is in a place like Liberia. Like national borders mean a little bit less because those are city-states, right? The capital city of an African country is where the state's power is at its strongest. at every mile you go from a government outpost or a government-controlled city, the more everything relies on informal and traditional like forms of local governance, right? I didn't know this. I learned this recently that I want to say it's either Niger.
Is this not also true in America though?
I mean, it's
Yes
kind of
and
true.
no.
It's kind of just generally
sundown
true of
towns in
statehood,
America.
I think.
Yeah. I want to say it was either Niger or Chad, where like there's a central government, obviously, in these countries. They are nation states, but in one of those two countries, there are something like 300 kings still, who like rule their municipalities like in a hereditary style. The central government governs those areas with those.
We call those
with
the
consent of
president of the
leadership.
PTA board here in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there might be a law in the
County
books
commissioners here.
Yeah, there may be, and Liberia is a bad example for the tribal aspect of it because Liberia is as much of a creation as the United States is in Africa. It is just a dumping
Literally
ground.
a created state. Yeah.
Like it was a created state. So like I think maybe a better example is of a large, relatively centralized state, like Nigeria, right? The social relations that make up how Nigeria functions day to day are completely different in Lagos than they are like 4 hours from Lagos in the hinterland. And so a law in the books in Lagos, and this is a state that does have the ability to exert a pretty large amount of power. In Lagos, it might be pretty hard to get bushmeat and like sell it and prepare it and have ownership of it without being prosecuted by the authorities if you're found out. But 4 hours away in a small town, or something that we might consider a village, it's normal. It's a thing you just do, and that law is not enforced.
This is why Americans hate the ATF so much, because the ATF are the only people cracking down on the hillbillies.
Yeah.
And I'm dead ass about it. That is why, like, in America, the hillbillies
Local
are
sheriff ain't doing
outside
shit
of-
about your machine gun. It's the ATF.
Exactly,
It's
right?
the ATF.
And it's only when they come around and their particular eyes are on you, the very few times they actually get to you because they are federal, and you live in fucking bumfuck nowhere, Minnesota, or wherever the hell.
I mean, I guess this is just kind of true of statecraft in general, but like reaction flees to be away from concentrated populations,
And then in
It's
turn,
why I wanna be a
It's
Right,
why
so
like
now,
every fascist had a backup plan of fleeing to the mountains and creating like the Fuhrer bunker in the Swiss Alps. It's why every American fascist is like, oh, just wait until those Chinese paratroopers land in Appalachia.
Yeah. I mean, it is also part of like polarization in a state like this, right? Like think about like the reactionaries flee, and they flee to places that are deemed safe for them, right? The places that they think they can live the life they want. And in turn, they also concentrate and urbanize just in a right-wing way, right? I think a great example, or the example everybody knows at home, is like Florida.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
but like Florida is the common example. I think a better example is where the ATF has like gotten involved in shootouts, and that's Idaho. Idaho has a few pretty major cities. Coeur d'Alene and Boise, those are cities of almost 1 million people each. They're big. But they are, like, that is a state run by fucking, like, actual Nazis. And they concentrated there, right? Nazis, right-wingers from all over the western United States. They go to Idaho. And they concentrate there. They urbanize there. Coeur d'Alene, I hate this. It's the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. But it's full of fucking Nazis. They all concentrated there.
Well, there's different forms of urbanism. I feel like we've talked about this before, where like the Maya peoples had urbanism, but it wasn't the way that we perceive of urbanism. But we knew to call it urbanism because there did tend to be like a central religious structure, and there were logistics and hieroglyphs involved in order to process logistics around this center. But like in reality, it was so spread out and just like branched out into these like groups of houses.
Exactly.
Well, like, I mean, Cahokia is an even better example, right? That's a society without writing that did urbanism.
What? Koki?
Cahokia?
Is
The
this also in
Mississippian
Latin America?
culture? No, this is
Oh,
like the fucking mountains outside of Chicago or outside of St.
gotcha.
Louis.
Well, yeah, the Great Lakes. I forgot what the fuck the tribal council was called, but it was very developed
Haudenosaunee?
around the. No, there was like a council of the
Iroquois
Great
League?
Lakes. There was it was what Ben Franklin based a lot of the
That
The
was
Constitution.
Iroquois League.
Yeah.
Maybe I thought there was a
Yeah.
different name for it, but whatever.
No, there's the Iroquois League and Haudenosaunee, which is like their word for it,
I don't know. It was
for being Iroquois.
so like
I remember being like in elementary school and learning about the Iroquois, and I was like, "You mean that brown people aren't stupid? What?" It was like a genuine like.
You want to
Listen,
mean.
Like it's like a real like you gotta teach kids this shit because like if you allow like the basic implicit assumptions of like white supremacist hegemony to like just sit unfettered in their mind, they'll soak it all up. You gotta actively say something against it every single day of your life, and that's why we're so annoying.
You want a real fucking insane like Native American thing? Because I grew up in Union County. Andrew Jackson is from there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Jackson is from either right over the border where you live or right over the border from where I live, where I grew up. I remember in elementary school, they took us to a place where the Waxhaw tribe lived. And I need to say right now, Andrew Jackson killed every last single Waxhaw. He killed them all. There's a story to that where supposedly they raided his family farm when he was a child, killed his dad, I think. So he wiped them out when he got in charge. But I remember we went to like
Well, it
this
sounds like his
site
dad
that-
deserved it.
Probably, but we went to this archaeological site where they had uncovered like a Waxhaw village and things like that. And the only thing I remember getting out of that was they made us take all of our shoes off and go into the woods, and they taught us how to walk like, and this is in their words, so I'm going to say it like them, walk like the Indians, where you try to make no noise. So you're walking, and sometimes I still do this, like, it's not on purpose, but, like, I'm like, I gotta walk quiet. So I walk like this. Your heels touch, and then you walk on the outside of your feet and roll around to your toes. That's all we learned about the goddamn... They didn't tell us about the slaughter. They taught us how to walk quietly in the forest.
They taught us how they tried to avoid the slaughter by making
Yeah,
no
they were
noise.
like, this is how they would sneak up on settlers, who I'm sure were, like, drunk and shooting into the night. But, like, this is how they would sneak up on people and, like, do their hunting when they were hunting. It's like, this is how you walk quietly in the leaves.
But yeah, I think even beyond this problem extends even beyond like capitalist state building, for example, because the Chinese Cultural Revolution, you know how that went, mixed results.
Gotta get that pig iron.
Mixed results.
Get pussy too.
This
Will there ever be? Will there ever be an American Cultural Revolution? Will we ever solve this problem?
There will be a white genocide, I'll tell you that much.
Hope so.
I
So
hope so.
I'm doing
there
my
was
part.
also the several times
You
that
and I don't count. We're POC.
No,
Austin, though.
Wait, hey, Austin has fucking untouched roots. That makes him POC.
Wait,
What does that
actually,
mean?
I forgot. We said this yesterday. Any Latina can make another one. Austin, I hereby...
Oh, did you call yourself
Latino.
Latina? It finally
I'm a
came out,
Latina.
y'all.
I'm a Latina. You are now... I almost said your full actual name.
no, let's move on.
Okay.
So another example being the several times that the Soviet Union tried and failed hilariously to cut back on alcohol, making up like 30% of their GDP or something.
What is with them?
It led to disaster like every single time.
They were
It's
out
not
there
a drink.
drinking fucking ethanol, like, from the fucking airplane hangars. What is with the Russians?
There are unique cultural challenges unique to it's many different
Each
parts of the
place.
globe, shall we say.
It's a unique cultural challenge.
To be fair, how bad was
they make
drinking?
the Irish look sober.
How bad was drinking in America before Prohibition happened? Like, it had to have been really bad.
Pretty bad. America's like first like actual export was Applejack.
What caused alcoholism rates to
decline or go up?
Yeah, what caused alcoholism to decline, generally speaking?
Prohibition.
Like, ever since then, it just
the
kept...
Temperance League.
Yeah,
Really?
all the ladies were like, "We're not gonna kiss you if you drink alcohol."
Also, part of it was the complete clamping down on like non-tax liquor, like moonshining, right? Like everybody used to make their own fucking booze, and when it became like a crime to do so, you're gonna see an immediate drop off, and then
Oh, wait, hold on.
they catch more people over time.
Google, according to Gallup News, a couple of reasons for this are increased health consciousness and the new extremely high cost of socializing. So it's too expensive to get shit-faced with your friends.
Do you remember when we were in college and we could go to the bar and each of us could spend $20 and like you'd wake up at home and not know how?
Dude, that's why the Soviet Union could never stop fucking getting people to get drunk. It's because everything was so cheap there.
Everything was so affordable because of
Everything was so affordable because of socialism that they just could get drunk as much as they wanted. I think part of the reason it backfired, at least during the 90s or
I'm gonna go to a dive bar
late
right
80s or something,
I gotta find a cash only
was the Soviet Union tried increasing the price of alcohol and everyone freaked the fuck out.
There was, back in like 1100, I was in Germany a couple years back, and
in 1100.
Yeah, in 1100 I was back in Germany, but they raised the price of beer by like 1 shekel or whatever the fuck, 1 mark in Germany. They raised it from like 11 to 13 marks for a fucking beer in 1100 in Germany, and they fucking burned the goddamn city down. Like, people...
Well, I think...
Like, there's been a genuine and very real, like, violent attachment to alcohol that humans have had in organized society forever.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to the drunken monkey hypothesis, perhaps.
The drunken monkey hypothesis. You gotta go listen to the drunken monkey hypothesis.
I'm telling you, though, has there ever been, like, in Icar of the gods, better than, like, a nice cold beer?
Banquet. Yeah, I know. No.
So, obviously, different states have different ways of trying to latch on to and solve.
But we figured out the heroin, like, we figured out the poppy shit pretty early on, too.
We did, yeah. But that's why the Taliban exists. They gotta cut that shit out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, literally, that's the main reason that we need the Taliban. To keep everybody from dying from heroin.
So there are obviously different ways that different states sort of try to push back on, shall we say, unwanted cultural trends. Mm-hmm. And there's different ways that Americans are responding to this sort of stuff now. Whereas over the years, there's been like relatively few, very little engagement with tweets from CBP accounts about confiscating bushmeat, for example. But the most recent tweet has gotten like 1,000 replies, over 2 million views, because now that we're living under Führer Elon's Twitter, a lot of Nazis found out about this tweet, and now all the replies are like, these people can never assimilate into American culture. We've got to deport all of them. Which again, employing cultural relativism here, they wouldn't say that about white Americans eating raccoon and deer, because, of course, they don't give a fuck about the ethical... Like, obviously, they don't care about the ethical concerns.
They would eat the monkey bushmeat if they were offered the monkey.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think they would, because I think they would view that as, like, a brown person thing to do.
They'd eat it from a white South African.
Point being is that they obviously don't care about, like, the moral side of this, but it is being latched onto, or it was, and we saw the last fucking 2 months, I guess, really, of, ICE being sent to Minneapolis in response to all of this anti-Somalian, anti-African migrant sentiment bubbling up primarily online, primarily through Twitter and YouTube and Kick and all that. And it led to 2 white people being shot to death, first of all. So,
By brown guys.
yeah, so, funny how that works, I guess, but
White supremacy has many heads, and generally those heads are Guatemalan for some reason.
It's surprising.
So, I guess to just sort of put a bow on this, individual consumer choices, obviously, writ large, ineffective at enacting real large-scale cultural change, but, for me personally, having spoken about how veganism and zoos and other forms of animal advocacy are more often than not just sort of like a self-soothing exercise and moral laundering to distract from the real root cause of these problems. Capitalism. The problem I am having now is that, we're aware of the cause being capitalism and doing everything in our power to make others aware of this, but still nothing is changing.
And nothing will change. To be quite
Probably
frank.
not.
Nothing will change.
I watched the State of the Union last night, the entire thing. Do you want to hear?
No.
Some of the highlights?
It's over 2 hours
I saw some clips, and it's just, this is like a fucking...
Should be my 3rd term. Applause.
Like, it's just a fucking cartoon country at this point. Mickey Mouse country.
Am I allowed to say that every federal government employee needs to be on this podcast?
I think you are.
No, you're not allowed
because
to say
that's my
that.
genuine true belief. And you have awesome way to beat this one out.
I agree. It's interesting because they already have all the data they want on us. We're just not important enough yet. So at this point, they're gonna come one day.
Fuck it. Every USPS worker too.
You know what? Fuck them. Honestly, I don't like the mail lady at my job. She comes in, she forgets shit. She's kind of annoying. Also, stop bringing me shit that it's clearly not for here.
Every federal employee must be.
Yeah, we need
State
cannot
employees
repeat
are fine,
the biggest mistake of the Soviet Union. The biggest mistake of the Soviet Union was keeping the bureaucracy. We got Pol Pot's only good idea was killing the bureaucracy. He just didn't replace it with one. We need to replace it with a new one. Yeah. Full of all of us and our friends. And
exactly, that'll work.
We need to kill every bureaucrat and replace it with our autistic map-making friend.
Exactly, dude. That's how we fix it.
We are going to make Vil run the entire economy.
And it could work perfectly. The first
time.
It
would work flawlessly.
Point being, though, that, while we're stuck in these material realities, we're also sort of stuck being hypocrites, and I think there is some material realities of being a settler, colonial cracker consumer that makes hypocrisy unavoidable. But even avoiding those hypocrisies, like being vegan, being ethically sourced Mr. Beast chocolate only. Yeah. It doesn't make much of an impact on reality at all, does it?
It doesn't.
No, unironically, should we be buying the Mr. Beast chocolate?
I don't fucking know, man. Nothing matters. Consumer choice has never mattered. Consumer choice activism has never changed anything.
That's true.
But it also sucks being miserable all the time.
Is as effective as my fantasies of becoming a homesteader. They do genuinely, materially, nothing for improving the world, right?
Nope.
It's all, like Austin said, liberal self-soothing.
However,
we gotta die for this shit, folks.
However, here's the thing. It does suck being miserable because you're so correct all the time. It does feel a little bit nice to be just every once in a while see someone and be like, Yeah, you know what? I am a better person than you because I'm not eating that hamburger. Because I'm
Yeah, it is
not,
kinda
I'm
nice.
not
Absolutely.
eating the Krispy Kreme deep fried double hamburger stack at the state fair, and that does make me a better person than you.
I do love a Krispy Kreme donut, though. Do you think those are ethical?
Something like the liberals were onto something. It does feel nice to feel like a better
The
person.
gloating is great.
The gloating
always great.
is like veganism. I understand fully to the extent that like, ooh, wouldn't I like to just go up to someone and be like, ooh, I'm a better person. Like not even saying it out loud, just thinking in my head, ooh, I love that I'm a better person than you.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
And, like,
absolutely.
I think that I've totally lost my train of thought. But
You want to kill everybody?
I want to kill everybody. I always want to commit a mass genocide of all Americans. But
All Americans to the dirt.
I do think it is at least a little bit, somewhat, a tiny modicum, a bit of productive to say, I'm going to actively try my best to live in a way that is moral. You know?
Yeah, because I mean, nobody like if you're going through life just objectively a hypocrite, it doesn't even if it doesn't matter
Yeah.
either way, it does
Your
wear down on
soul
you.
will be dragged down to hell while
Yeah.
you are still walking the earth.
Yeah,
And
will
that's
you
a
go-
miserable
Will you
experience.
go to heaven?
Me?
Trying to
Yeah, I think
live
as a fucking lotus flower,
in
bitch.
accordance with your
You
own
think you're done?
values.
You think you've made it all the way
I
through?
got like a handful more cycles.
You've got
like,
at least
just a
two
handful.
more rounds. 2 more rounds as a 13th century Chinese peasant left.
And it's over. It's over.
I got at least a dozen.
Yeah.
A dozen.
Like I'm in
Right.
the home stretch here, y'all. I don't know if you
I
know
think
this, I'm in the
Austin's
home
coming
stretch.
back as a lotus flower.
I think I'm probably coming back as a monkey that's being experimented on.
Yeah, you do experiment with
That's
monkeys.
true. They gonna melt
Well,
your
that's-
brain
that's
with the
the
glue.
thing,
That's
like-
your next life.
So I've talked about this a little bit on, or maybe I haven't on the podcast, but I've talked about it personally with you two. But this for the new year, I guess it's been almost 3 months now. I have cut out all meat purchases. Granted, I'm not going to be like annoying, and if someone else ordered like a pepperoni pizza for the group, I'm going to be like, no, I can't eat this because
Austin,
it's
you're
already
calling me
the
annoying.
pig has already been slaughtered. It's already been purchased. Whatever, man.
That's settler mindset if I've ever heard it.
That's not
I mean,
settler
we already
mind.
here. Hold on. We already evicted this family from their home in the Golan Heights. I mean, we might as
That
well
is
take
not
it.
an Israeli accent. That is like fucking Borat voice.
I'm doing the
Wait,
the
hold
bat
on.
from
Wait,
Anastasia.
Hold on,
though.
isn't Sacha Baron Cohen?
He's Israeli.
He's not
Israeli?
Israeli. He's just Jewish.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Is he
British.
Israeli?
He's
a
British.
citizen. I'm pretty sure.
Any of them can be Israeli citizens if they
And
want
then
to.
that's what you
Well,
get.
yeah, I mean,
Sorry, you
that's-
get the worst.
That's a whole
passport
other
you have.
can of
That's what we
worms.
call
Don't
you.
even get me started on
If you whatever the worst passport that you hold is, that's what we get to call you.
Yeah, he's English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
he's always been.
Well, I think I got
I
confused.
don't think he's now.
He did
Israeli
do
or
that
something. He's just a
movie-
Zionist.
Yeah, he did do that movie where he like went to Israel to like do a Borat style mockumentary,
But yeah,
Or
Borat
Didn't they like
too.
beat him? Didn't they like beat his ass?
something like that. I don't
Beat him
know.
up.
So, I don't know. Partially my new refusal to purchase meat myself, unless I do it accidentally. Because the other day, I
At the
ordered.
Mexican restaurant. Yeah.
I went to a Mexican restaurant and I ordered a veggie ACP, and I figured, in my mind, I'm like, veggie ACP. ACP is just the vehicle to get
You
you to
gotta stop
understand
saying
what kind of.
ACP, okay? Because it's a very North Carolina thing. Everybody else is just gonna be confused. You need to
Yeah.
say what
Is
it?
it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It's kind of an Eastern Seaboard.
Arroz
thing.
con
Yeah.
pollo?
Yeah,
it's
we
like a
have
rice
dish
bowl
in
with
Mexican
chicken.
restaurants. Yeah, it's rice and
Yeah.
chicken. It's not a real thing.
It's usually
But-
like
Okay.
cheese sauce on it. It's good.
The cheese sauce is good. But point being, like, I know pollo is in the name, but I figured that was just a vehicle to get me to understand the style of dish. But no, like, it's despite it being called a veggie ACP, it very much did still have chicken in it. So I'm not going to, like, puke and scream and throw it out. I just ate it anyway. But
I'm a big pollo fundido guy.
part of this is my self-inflicted penance for my job that I do out of financial necessity that I don't really like doing morally. I can at least justify it to myself mentally by saying there's no like alternative medical models to non-human primates in. They call it comparative medicine now. Did you know that? They don't call it biomedical research. They call
they
it
don't
comparative.
call it Unit 731 anymore.
They call it comparative medicine now because it sounds nicer. Um, it's at least better than what I was doing in Chicago, which
Was
man,
living in Chicago.
They were executing those fucking
the holes in the brain thing was real. Like every day I had to clean the scabs off of a monkey's head wound. That was just like my job. Was I would like get a monkey, get him in this contraption, and then like clean the scabs trying to form around his head wound so that it didn't close. Very disgusting.
You know about the concept of a capo?
I didn't like doing it. That's why I went and got my master's degree. But then I realized, nobody in the world wants to pay me money for doing a job that I agree with morally. So I guess I got to go back into research. Yeah. At least this is just dietary research, and we're making them fat as fuck on purpose.
I gotta ask. Now that you've cut out meat and you go grocery shopping without buying meat, like, are you saving money?
Well, that's another thing. Part of my decision was I was having this conversation with Chandran in Buffalo.
When I visited Buffalo, yeah.
It was when Chandran first became vegetarian, and I was like, I don't really got the money to go all vegan, and Chandran was like, got genuinely mad, which, to your credit, you were right. And you were like, in what world is it cheaper to buy meat? And it's like, you're right. I fell for the fat fucking Uber Eats propaganda.
The only reason veggie that is more expensive or on par with the price of fucking meat is mushrooms and avocado. Everything else per pound is like monumentally cheaper.
There has never been a more cost-effective way to get protein than plant-based options, like beans. People just are
vegan. Are you eating eggs?
Well, yeah, I don't really. Honestly, I don't really.
You can buy that big fucking.
Here's my thing. I don't really care about
Walmart sells like 48 eggs now. It's like a big tray.
Like eggs and milk and cheese, it's like, all right, man, whatever. There's like, I know those industries aren't humane, but like they could be.
And I still don't like eating eggs, milk, and cheese because of that reason. But like, I don't know. I'm not vegan. I don't know. I will never be vegan. I need those things, and like,
what is life without cheese?
If I was being vegetarian because of a American sense of like I need to stop harming animals because I live in America, I would be vegan. But I started with a vegetarian thing because one, like historically, that's what my family has been. Historically, that's like what I have been. Like I have been vegetarian previously in my life, so I like just went back to that. But like if you really wanted to cut out all the harm you're actually doing to animals in America, you would have to be vegan. I'll be right back.
Yeah, but and then
you're really not, because everything you wear and put on your body is made from animals, right?
Like I'm gonna put the plastic sheet on my body instead. Like, all right, man. Like, at a certain point, veganism becomes self-defeating because you can't erase your harm to the world without like overthrowing capitalism in the first place. So like it becomes, it does become like a very self-defeating practice at a certain point where it's like, okay,
because especially when you like devote yourself to, like, especially like, everything's got to be fucking plastic, right? Like, well, you're just destroying the world in a different way. You're doing your part in keeping the plastics industry alive. I mean, what? It's an evil world we live in.
It's an evil world we live in, man. I think there is some aspect of this that can be harnessed for the bushmeat thing, I think. Because I feel like if we can convince enough African migrants that they are better people than their hick relatives for not eating monkeys, then that, depending on if they are actually a significant source of demand for bushmeat or not, again, something we'd have to fund, which we all know that this government won't fund any research. That could be a route. Like, people love to feel...
I'm surprised that this government's not doing the same type of research that the Nazis were doing in the Indiana Jones movies.
I think that... If we theoretically lived in a world where this government still cared about any sort of scientific research at all, any sort of cultural research at all, I think it would be a very powerful tool to tap into, to be like, you're better than your uncle.
To be fair,
for
this
not
government's
eating monkey
research
meat.
and every other government in existence research is almost 100% of cases only being done in the interests of quote unquote national security.
I said everything is justified by national security.
Yeah.
All of it is at this point. Like that's
there was an experiment done post. I feel like I've talked about this before, but there was an experiment done post 9/11 where they exposed monkeys to the radiation that I guess they assumed would be coming from a dirty bomb to sort of help manufacture consent for invading Iraq. I mean, see, this is what'll happen to your body if the terrorists detonate a dirty bomb in America.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to find some source on that. Maybe it's a good episode. There was also during the peak of the Iraq-Afghanistan war, rumors of the Taliban training monkeys to use machine guns to shoot at American soldiers, which was obviously fake and not true. But yeah, there's a lot of things to dive into with that. Even boycotts don't even really work anymore. Like, boycotts don't work anymore. I think the only time a boycott has ever worked was like the bus boycott in the civil rights movement, because it was also paired with like on-ground rallies and riots.
Like national boycotts of like the buses and so many other institutions.
I don't even think like we could pull that off today. I don't think there's any sort of coherent enough movement to pull anything near that off. And maybe BDS could be if we didn't literally outlaw BDS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Greg said earlier, like there's always a chilling effect that simply outlawing something will have, right? If you simply outlaw alcohol production, people are going to stop making alcohol. They don't want to take that risk.
Yeah.
Plus, I feel like one thing that's also especially true today is the polarization will be like, say we did another bus boycott, there'd be so many goddamn white people going out and buying like 10 bus tickets a day just to offset the wokeism, the woke boycott. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's like I don't know how much has been recorded in terms of that phenomena, like in the past, but like there is something different now than there was even during the civil rights movement. I don't know if it's because like Jim Crow as a concept had become so decrepit by like the 60s that most people were already kind of like, right, were blasé about it, or like just weren't invested in the same way. But like nowadays, think about it, every time the liberal left, I'm going to say, attempts to do something, because I'm going to say that the radical left, the actual left, we don't do shit. But like every time the liberal left attempts to do something, like it is immediately countermanded by like just like the power of $1 bazillion from Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
Like it's just immediately they just outspend.
That's a big thing about like Gamergate.
Oh god.
That's like kind of like this the stuff that was recently coming out in the Epstein files was like, I think a lot of like astute cultural critics recognizes at the time was that like Gamergate was kind of like a firestorm that was started up by very particular moneyed interests, right?
Yeah.
People like Steve Bannon like literally said, wow, look at all these angry white boys who are just online and ready to like start shit with anybody if you insult them or the things they love or the things they like.
Yeah.
What if you turn those guys, instead of like going up against us and our cryptocurrency and shit like that? This is back when, the average white guy did not dislike cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having like microtransactions is specifically like the industry thing that was going on. If all these guys can get together and form a hate mob online to stop microtransactions in their video game, imagine if you use them for like something with political momentum, like real political momentum. And of course they relied on the classics.
Jeffrey Epstein, like Yakuza 6 intro screen, walking in, ripping off his shirt. Epstein, head of the IDF clan. Yeah, and also, like, think back to, like, that fucking ridiculous Biden-era conservative boycott of Bud Light that probably didn't really do much of anything, at least, especially not
I was
today.
drinking Bud
It's
Light
completely
every
died
single
off.
weekend after that boycott.
But, like, there was a tangible sense that Bud Light was trying to cater back to these people,
But they
something
got
that they wouldn't do otherwise.
They got, like,
Because
that Down syndrome comedian to like start doing ads for them, right?
I don't know, something like
What's that guy's name?
Shane
Greg?
Gillis.
Yeah.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah, like they as soon after right after the boycott, like
Well,
okay,
they started
let's get our-
pandering, but
Exactly.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
see that the other way around because it's like when right wingers start boycotting something, liberals aren't going to buy it just to own the right wingers.
No, liberals just go like, oh,
okay,
those
whatever.
pithy bastards. Like, and then they just like move on, which is like,
But if liberals
First
started
off, we don't
boycotting
even-
Budweiser for being like not woke, then every goddamn conservative dad would be like, "Oh, you're not drinking Budweiser."
and they
Yeah,
buy
and I guess-
9,000 cases of it.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't want to say. I mean, I was gonna say that like, oh, because the conservatives believe in capitalism in that way, but like liberals also believe in capitalism. Liberals just don't have like that literal knee-jerk reactionary response to it.
also
I think
feel
you
like
have
they
to
don't
be a bit of
believe-
like
they
a
believe in
cattle-brained
capitalism.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. They believe in capitalism, but they do truly believe in like the any one of us can make a difference, right? I think the right doesn't believe that. I think the right believes that you need a majority through force to change. The liberals
Which
really
is
do
correct,
believe in like
actually,
me
ironically.
recycling. It is. But like liberals believe very deeply like, oh, well, I recycle. Well, I
Yeah.
consume less. Like,
Which
and
is
so for them,
kind of going back to our like whole thing about bushmeat was like you have to stop, you have to prevent the sheer massive amounts of bushmeat cases happening and like bringing this stuff through borders because yeah, sure, maybe you did it right, it wasn't cool to kill that
Yes.
monkey anyway, but like maybe you did it right, but like the 7,000th dude to do it didn't do it right. And now we've got fucking like starling birds here because some guy like Shakespeare. That's a totally different disconnected idea. But we got invasive species now because of that. One fucking guy who's like read about Shakespeare and its effects on the natural world understood what the hell I was talking about there. Shout out you.
Okay. Well, I don't know why I put this as the very last thing in my document, but I linked to a 2014 article called "Monkey Tasered in France After Chocolate Fueled Bender," and there's this
I don't
image
understand why
of,
that was there either.
of the monkey that had been tasered. I'm going to put it up on the
It's a good
screen
picture,
right now.
this is crazy. It's over,
French
like,
police
it's
had to use a
paragraph.
stun gun to take down an aggressive monkey that was running amok in a Marseille neighborhood. Its rampage. Shut up. Its rampage fueled in part by chocolate given to it by children. Police say the animal is being fed Kinder chocolates by local children. The monkey's rampage ended Monday after police used a stun gun to subdue it, and that's the end of the article.
He looks rather peaceful.
He does
does.
look rather peaceful after being fucking taken out by his stun gun. I don't remember where I was going with this, but I also made this document in December, so...
What am I even looking at? Oh, is this CBC News? I was like, whose fucking article is this?
Yeah, CBC as in the Canadian broadcasting.
I wrote this article
channel,
at
not
work in December, so I
CBS.
don't know what I was on
That
That
about.
does
yeah, this was a
explain
while
this
back.
part where you're talking about how in the new year you're going to be vegetarian. I'm like, you've been like this for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Well,
Longer, honestly.
Yeah.
maybe. I did kind
Not
of
through
stop
choice.
near the end of December because that was when I was like, maybe I should change my life and decision. That was also when I decided to cancel Spotify.
All things are connected. Okay, I mean, we're already like almost at 2 fucking hours, so who gives a shit at this point? Nobody's listening. But like, I have now tried Spotify, Tidal, and Apple Music. Have you come down on a winner yet?
I have also tried all three.
I don't know. I mean, I'm back on Spotify simply because
Me too.
whenever there's a party, I'm like, yeah, join my Spotify jam, and that
Yeah.
works.
Like
And that's why Spotify will always win out for me.
I think Spotify also wins out for me, like, And they do in the same way that like Google wins, and like even like Twitter for all of its heinousness still wins. It's just like I've been using it for fucking 10 years. It's familiar. The UI always works. It always does what I expect it to do. And Apple Music feels clunky. It doesn't feel as, I guess...
I feel like a blind man when I'm using Apple.
Yeah, and they
I haven't
neither
tried
Tidal
Apple
nor
Music
Apple
yet.
Music. They don't feel... And I mean, this is an excellent design choice, like, very much by design. Like, it feels more personal to make a Spotify playlist, just in the way the app works, looks,
I've never
and
made
feels.
I don't make Spotify playlists.
You
I
just
will
have a
say
big
though,
liked
you know what the
songs
fuck?
thing?
You know what the fuck Apple messed up? The goddamn podcasts app. I'm sure some of y'all are listening to this on Apple Podcasts.
It's
Like
fucked up,
the
man.
liquid glass update, where the fuck happened? It's so bad.
Fucking horrific
It's so
update.
fucked up.
It
It's
Why
so
is
fucked up.
destroyed my
why
phone.
does
I had
the
to
UI
buy a
keep-
new phone because of that update.
Yeah, the UI keeps fucking with me. Whenever I open the Apple Podcasts app, it's always doing something different every single
Does this
fucking
mean-
time.
You know, speaking of like podcast streaming apps, I don't know if you guys have this problem, but the Patreon fucking app, if you listen to any podcasts on there, fucking blows nuts.
Yeah, sorry to all of our Patreon subscribers, which you should join us at patreon.com/Gorilla Radio Show or gorillaradio.show, which has the link
Only
on the
GorillaRadio
Patreon.
Show can we drive traffic to the website.
But that doesn't matter. It's
Only
like
fans in bio.
the traffic to the website doesn't make
to
us
get
money.
all of our information.
I know, but,
And
you know.
patreon.com/Gorilla Radio Show if you know what the fuck you're here for.
Exactly.
But let me tell you, one, if you're on the Patreon app, don't sign up through the app. They steal your money. Two, actually steal our money. Two, if you're using Patreon to listen to the podcast that you subscribe to through Patreon, you shouldn't be doing that. Patreon will give you an RSS link. Copy that
Just
link,
put it
take it to
somewhere
your
the fuck else.
podcatcher, and put it in Apple
Yeah.
Podcasts
Put
or
it,
wherever the
put
fuck
it
you
somewhere
use.
the fuck else.
Anyway,
Here's some news. The United States has arrested a former F-35 Lightning pilot for providing training to the Chinese Air Force. Also, Cuba sank an American boat today.
Boy.
It's only good things today, folks.
nothing bad
War
can
with
happen.
Iran?
Only good can happen.
When this episode comes out, right now, everyone, it's February 25th. We're not at war with Iran. When this episode comes out, if we are, let me know in the comments. I like to be wrong, but let us know in the comments if I'm wrong.
Well, anyways, subscribe to us on Patreon. We got a decent amount of traffic from the Punch the Monkey Patreon episode. That was cool.
Very good.
Very perfect storm of elements there.
And now
But
we're releasing
Punch-
an almost 2-hour episode to follow up our Punch the Monkey intrigue.
Punch is still on my fucking main feed, but I do need people to join the Patreon because I accidentally bleached my favorite hoodie.
I noticed
Yeah,
that.
Greg needs to buy
I thought
it.
you
I'm
came
so
on it or something.
I'm so upset about it. Actually,
You have to tie dye it now. It's the only solution.
I thought about doing the thing. Jaden did it on a hoodie once, where like you bleach leaf imprints, like the imprints of a leaf.
You
Thought about
should.
doing that to kind of cover it. The back is way worse though. Like the back is like
turn around.
huge splotches. I don't want to turn around.
Turn around.
Like the back.
Oh, yeah, that is way worse.
Yeah.
But also, I
Yeah.
think you can do the leaf thing, or you can just tie dye it, and it will work.
I thought about just tie-dyeing it, but also just send us a little bit more money because this was like $40. I'd like to.
Yeah, subscribe to our Patreon so Greg can buy a new shirt.
Yeah, he needs
Thank
that
you.
more than like fucking food.
I have.
All right.
Yeah, how long? Yeah.
I don't
For
know.
how
Check
long?
this.
I gotta
Check
rent.
this.
I gotta pay rent.
Keep,
this
keep
week.
track of this, and then next time Greg is in our fucking phone, being like, "Give me money, give me money, give me money," just keep that one in mind.
All right. Well, that about wraps up this episode. See y'all next time.
See ya.
Au revoir. He's doing it right now.
I just did it just now.